La 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 la. Wow, that was a long loading screen. Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Grimrock 2 comes out in literally like an hour from when I'm recording this. So I'm so conflicted right now. I'm like, yes, must record Final Fantasy X, want to play Grimrock. Today we are in Bevelle simply because we gave the sphere to New Yevon. And that means that we get some interesting stuff, not necessarily that rewarding, but some interesting stuff here to check out. Here's the old man again. I think I told you guys about this in Chapter 1, where you can ride that elevator all the way along. Instead, I'd just like to talk to some of these guards. This guy says, Bevelle is impenetrable. Its citizens are safe in our hands. And this guy says, we'll show those wet behind the ears, youth league scum, a thing or two. Now, you might notice some of this dialogue you recognize a little. And Bevelle's kind of a little bit disappointing in that way. I think they don't update the dialogue here as much as they do everywhere else in the game. Almost everywhere else, whenever you move another chapter up, the dialogue changes. So he says, the Youth League invited me to join, but this is my home, I wanted to protect it, that's why I'm with New Yevon. That's a little bit of a shame, but again, I think this just ties into the fact that the devs are maybe subtly, maybe not so subtly saying to you, hey, you should probably do Youth League. So I don't know, everything about the way that Yuna reacts to New Yevon, I think they're on the side of the players, really. I mean, no players are going to be on the side of New Yevon, so the devs kind of make the choice most players would want to make, the more obvious one. But I don't know whether I like that so much. I much prefer games like, you know, The Witcher, where they give you all these decisions and you never feel like you're making the right choice no matter what that decision is. Here's this lady, she says, Lady Yuna, it is truly an honor. Again, you know, kind of generic. Probably stuff we saw before. Even that's repeated there, I mean, geez. But by coming here, this screen we're currently on, if we'd given the sphere to the Youth League, they wouldn't even let us through the gates in Bevelle. The funny thing is, because coming to Bevelle in Chapter 1 was optional too, and meeting Barreleye, that was all optional, it means you can do a playthrough of this game where you never really get to go to Bevelle for a long-ass time, and it's because you give the sphere to the other people, and there was just no other reason to come here. So these kids, seeing Marauder and, well, not Marauder and Passe, seeing Passe and his friends here, the Kinderguardians, we wouldn't actually get to see these guys if we gave the sphere elsewhere. So we're now in Unique Scene City. So this kid says, Hana says, was that a sound coming from below? I'm probably just hearing things. Yeah, that must be it. Oh, God, a sound from below? Do you guys remember when we were in Bevelle before, we got thrown in that massive labyrinth underground, where they just left us there to die? Taro says, Kindergar patrolling. Oh, are you scared? What does Passe have to say? Passe says, the Kinderguardians are searching Bevelle from top to bottom. No treasure can hide from us. Sorry, but I don't think there'll be any treasure left for you, Lady Yuna. Oh, and he says, but you can't walk away empty-handed. Here, have this. And he'll give us this accessory here called the Cat's Bell. This accessory you can only get from picking New Yevon, so it is kind of something of a unique reward. It's not the only one, there's plenty. But if we have a look, I must be honest, it's not amazing. We'll go equip brother. Basically what this is, it's got HP and MP stroll as far as I remember. Let's have a quick look. Oh, it's just HP stroll. So HP stroll means that as you're wandering around outside of battles, you'll slowly regenerate your health. You'll also notice here that by equipping it on brother, it does boost his health too. But it's not amazing gear, honestly. It's good if you like grind, a little bit of utility, but certainly not enough to warrant, you know, losing 100% maybe for some people, losing 3 people who could join your party. So, yeah, these guys are looking for stuff, and if we try and come inside now to where we met Barreleye before, this guy actually says, I can't let anyone pass, it seems something's happened, but as to what, I haven't the foggiest. So, this isn't just some excuse that stops us going in this door as well. That's actually a hint to something going on behind the scenes after we gave the sphere back to New Yevon. So, yeah, this is basically what we've got to do in Bevelle. Very little. Wanted to show it to you guys, though. You get the Cat's Bell. And we'll be able to explore here more later. Certainly what they're talking about, exploring Bevelle top to bottom, will become relevant. Now, you notice from that screen, we're actually really high in the sky. I love that moment where the camera angle changes and you get to see low down. Bevelle is a terrifyingly big place, I'll say that much. Anyway, we'll hop back onto the airship, and similar to how we've just come to Bevelle, let's see what happens if we go to Mushroom Rock now. Maybe we can curry favour with those guys, with Nooj's lot, even though we never even gave them the sphere. Back up on the airship, Riku says, New Yevon seems convinced that the Youth League is going to attack. That is true. If you talk to some of the guys outside the door, they say, oh, we're ready if the Youth League come. Paine says, Bevelle's on red alert. I don't think we need to worry about LeBlanc starting trouble there. Don't forget, the overall theme right now is that we're looking for uniforms. Buddy says to us, sorry, Una, no lead on any uniforms. Our main goal should be to go to Guadosalam, because if you remember that big mansion, Seymour's mansion, the LeBlanc Syndicate moved into. So that's why this place is the hotspot. We will go there in just a second. Just want to check out Mushroom Rock. So we actually have a mission here. It says, brave the Angry League. Now that we've returned the sphere to New Yevon, the Youth League's none too happy with us. We could always muscle our way in, though. Absolutely, let's do it. The funny thing about Mushroom Rock Road is it's also the entrance to that Den of Woe that Marauder showed us in the previous chapter. Such a huge area of the plot. This game is, I've not really talked about it, but if you do a playthrough of this game where you do no side stuff, you miss out on some massive, massive story elements. And it's mostly stuff to do with the Den of Woe. So anyway, here we go. We're back out here. There's a baby Hypello here. Are you a baby Hypello? I think you are. He says, it is no good. The tickets are not selling. Oh, tickets? What have you got tickets to? The chief will be crestfallen to see such subpar sales. Oh, interesting. This our bed lady says that this machine was built from one of the machina we picked up in Bevelle. But those Youth League morons can't get past the fact that it's connected to Yevon. Yeah, you see how it's got the Yevon signs on its guns there? That's pretty cool, actually, and that they're using it. I never even noticed that in the previous game. I'm coming back over here because, just like in the previous chapter, this was a pretty nice chest for us to get. At the end of the day, this whole section of the game, where you come up this whole thing, it's only here for loot now. And it turns out there's actually 2 chests here in this chapter. Or according to my notes, there's 2 chests. I have no memory of there being 2, but I think that one there is new. Yeah, there you go. So new chests will even appear. I've got some funny notes here, like, warning me about stupid stuff. And we also get 1,500 gil this time. And, of course, when you're doing playthroughs where you're not doing much side stuff like this one, gil can be a tricky situation, and it's always nice to pick more of that up. There was another guy just over here. Oh, no, it's just a hover. If we go too far, obviously, it will transition the scene. So let's try and go up to the Mushroom Rock HQ.
It's those sphere thieves, the Gullwings. Watch yourselves.
Sir!
Red alert!
What, we didn't...
What were you thinking, Lady Una? How could you give the sphere to Yevon? Some of the more hot-headed among us have convinced themselves that the Gullwings are the enemy.
You've got hasty friends.
Exactly. They are too hasty in their judgment, but I still have faith in you, Lady Una.
Oh, thanks, Yaibal.
I'll run to headquarters right away and ask them to call off the red alert. Farewell!
When does he find time to breathe?
Yeah, he runs around doing stuff constantly. Wow. So yeah, some people have decided we're thieves. Funny, I don't seem to remember you guys ever owning that sphere. We didn't steal it from you. We stole it from Yevon and gave it back to Yevon. Anyway, Clasko over here is shaking his head, and if we talk to him...
I knew it. I'm just not cut out for all this battle stuff. See? I'll never be good at anything. I can't go on like this. I've got to find my place in the world.
And as you can see there, Clasko has run off. And you would want to pursue him, I would guess, if you then want to finally now get him on the airship. If you miss it in Chapter 1, you can still do it now in Chapter 2. They're not that punishing with the Clasko thing. Obviously, I'm not doing the side stuff, though, here, so I don't have to worry about that. Lots of branches you can do with Clasko. See, in one save file, we've got him on the airship at this point. On the other, he's just ran off on his own. We'll see where he comes up eventually. So, yeah, we're going to just try and go there. Why not? I guess the girls don't have much motivation, but we do as players. We at least want to get to the Den of Woe. So, the mission begins, and it says, who needs an invitation? The Youth League's edgier members have drawn their own conclusions and declared the Gullwings an enemy. Beat them back as you push through to the League headquarters. So, even when you make these guys your enemies... they're still very careful to make it like, okay, some of them are your enemies, but all your old friends and stuff, they're not really. Objective, reach the lift again to the headquarters, just like the Chapter 1 mission. Pretty different here, though. That guy said, stealing spheres! Not my idea of nice, or something, I don't know. The full dialogue never appeared. Oh yeah, so we only have our fiends as well. This is the first random encounter we've had for a while, since we killed that Machina at the end of Chapter 2. And we only have 2 people with us right now. Do I want Brother in the team constantly? I mean, really? Oh, I don't know. Brother is pretty funny. especially considering he, like, has actual dialogue, he says. And that Storm-in move, it's really kind of funny to see the unique abilities that different fiends have. Now, when I was grinding to get all of the fiend tails, some of those bosses were really interesting. So, like, the first boss you kill of the game, Boris, right? Before you get the first sphere on top of Mount Gagazet, the giant, like, spider-looking thing that inflicted stop on us. That guy, when you're... Because you can't fight with him, you can fight with pretty much any fiend in the game. He is so interesting. He has all of these crazy abilities where he eats enemies and stuff. Oh, so good. He says, "You will not harm the Maven." We're not trying to harm the Maven. Come on. One thing, you'll notice these guys are sitting here using abilities constantly, like Power Break. Like, would I really want to use Power Break? This is because they're low level. I haven't used them for that long. And they're not necessarily super smart all the time. So, one thing I actually quite liked to do on the other file was berserk my fiends deliberately. So they do more damage, but it would also take AI out of the question. That meant I missed a lot of the cool abilities, but sometimes I got to see cool stuff as well. Alright, how about we... the gold elemental should we put in? Zulu. I really want to be able to fight with Zulu, but he's such a bad, like, oh god. Let's try it, let's try it. Zulu, he's only level 9. This is the main issue. Even on my other file, he's higher than that. I think what we'll do as well is we'll have him on Thief. Now, Thief is a really strong dress sphere for fiends because it allows them to steal items, first of all, but also it gives them a lot of agility. You'll notice he's got almost 200 agility there. That kind of stuff is really important when it comes to only having one fiend on your team instead of 5, okay? You start to suffer from the problem we as players have taken advantage of for oh so long, which is the fact that you have 3 people and they only have 1, so you can just smash them, smash them, smash them, smash them, smash them. Enterprise isn't that useful right now because you'll see our guy is just so low level. But if we put on the Iron Bangle and hell, I guess if we put on the Gauntlets as well, Strength and Defense, he might be able to do some good, especially if there's only 2 Youth League members fighting us. Here's going to be a problem though. In this mission, there's a bunch of Ochu have moved in. The Ochu are incredibly dangerous. I don't want to get game over actually. God damn it. They're incredibly dangerous and I don't know whether you can avoid the first Ochu. Ah, okay, there's some Youth League members here. I didn't even read what they said. The Ochus, if you walk near them, you get into random encounters. But if you're careful, you don't have to go anywhere near them. And you can avoid them completely. Which is what I'm hoping to do. Because my notes say that the Ochus are damn difficult. Written in all caps, stay the hell away. So there you go. The zoo just wrecked them at least. And that was pretty nice. Just using one of his abilities there. Which I think he learned from a previous battle. Okay. I don't know what I want to do about the Ochu. I want to equip confuse-proof stuff, probably.
Buddy here. We're picking up some weak sphere waves near you.
I don't see anything.
It's probably in the ravine. Do you see a way down?
Okay, we'll take a look.
Be careful!
Ah, so, I mean, we can guess where that is. That's the Den of Woe. Funny bit of trivia, I guess. The first time I ever played this game when I was a kid... this is very similar if you think about it to the way Chapter 1 worked, where you're going along trying to do something, you're in the middle of a mission where the objective is to get just to the end of the ravine. And then, as you travel, you suddenly realize, oh, something's going on deeper down below. And on my very first playthrough, I never came here in Chapter 1, but I did come here in Chapter 2, and I got this sphere. And then I went back and read guides that were talking about the Crimson Spheres and where they all were, because they're all so well hidden and so easy to miss. And because they were so similar, I actually thought that I had all of the Crimson Spheres, when in fact I didn't, because I hadn't collected the Chapter 1 Crimson Sphere, only this one here in Chapter 2. And that was pretty painful, I've got to say. You notice there's no random encounters here at all. The only encounters we're getting are when we walk near the Youth League members or near those Ochu above. I'm really glad I'm going to be able to save here. Oh, well, that just completely undermined what I said. We did get a random encounter, fine. Anyway, so these guys are charging attacks, and what you'll notice I'm doing here is very actively moving the stars. I really glossed over this in a previous episode, but depending on how many stars you have really dramatically affects the damage you take and the damage you deal. Like, in a massive, massive way. They'll hit 300 damage to you if you have 5 stars, or they'll hit, like, 50 damage to you if you have only 1 star. So when it comes to having big enemies like big fiends that we've got here that are very slow, you can time it so that you have 5 stars just as they attack, and 1 star just as you get hit. So we got hit for 12 damage there, barely anything, right? Now, while we attack, I can ramp them up, and we can do a lot more. Now, obviously, those are elementals. The fiend tail of those is actually fantastic. I'll get to show you guys that later when we go to Guadosalam. the red elemental fiend tail. It's really good. But yeah, that's generally the way that that's going to work. Save, please. All right, let's head on into the cave. It's got to be here, right? It's Nooj, their leader, alone.
Well, I see the Gullwings have guts. Our League members are out for blood. This is no place for pawns of Yevon.
Pawns? The Gullwings work for no one.
That is just the problem. The calm comes and suddenly Spira is full of kids playing pirates.
Why, you...
Rico!
Never thought you'd end up a sphere hunter.
What? Paine? Wait.
It's yours. Happy hunting.
And then he just casually throws her this thing? Crimson Sphere 7. What does that mean?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know him?
Why should you care?
Come on, there was something between you two, right?
Riku. I'll say this once, okay? I consider you friends and I trust you. I even respect you, alright? I would think that'd be enough.
Well, yeah, but don't you ever want to know more about your friends?
Not really.
Well, I do. I do want to know more about you.
What for? Who cares what happened in the past?
There was something. Come on, Paine, you can tell us. What happened?
You disappoint me, Yuna. I thought you were above all that.
Well, not anymore. I like asking questions.
You'll lose friends.
You think so? Never mind then.
Oh, and I was looking forward to hearing the good stuff. Confessions of a shady past.
You're a pain. -4 respect points, Riku.
Uh-oh, how many points left?
47.
That's not a whole lot, is it?
I think that's quite a lot.
Why don't you figure out how to get in here instead of inside my head?
Maybe we need spheres like that one to open it.
It might open if we find them all.
I kind of still want to know what happened.
That's 46.
Riku is so us in this situation. It's really, really interesting the difficulties the devs will have had to have gone through with this game, because there's this weird thing about Paine's past. This is the most blunt it's been about it so far. But this is an optional scene. There's like 6 optional scenes in the game where you learn weird stuff about Paine that can all be completely missed. And then ultimately like a moment in the main story where you learn like serious stuff about Paine. And it's really weird the way they have to structure the cutscenes so that it makes like not just logical sense but like emotional sense from the way that the girls attack the conversations. Even though there's 6 different cutscenes, and in one situation the girls have had 6 conversations about it, and in the other situation they've only had 1, you know, like it's really, that must have been a nightmare. And I say the word 6, it meant the number 6, maybe it's not a full 6, but still. So yeah, we get Crimson Sphere 7 there. That of course has just been acquired on this save file where we're not even getting all the Crimson Spheres, but I wouldn't worry yourselves. Alright, do we really want to go Ochu versus Zoo? Because I feel like the Ochu would win. But the Zoo is probably immune to confusion, which is the serious thing that they inflict. Alright, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. I'm just going to try and sneak past first, though. Damn it, you can't. The first Ochu you can't sneak past, I'm pretty sure. The other ones you can. Alright, here we go. So we're just going to have to manipulate the stars. Alright, good. We missed. Having 1 star raises your evasion massively as well. 200 damage, that's not bad. The Zoo might win. The Zoo might win. And as well as your defense, it's immense the amount of damage reduction you can have. There you go, sweet. So we have like ribbon because we're so huge. So we just resisted poison there. Evade. One thing I do regret that this Zoo doesn't have, and maybe he learns it as an ability later, this again is where a lack of documentation and also my experience too comes into it. I wonder if you can teach the Zoo the ability to have like his last stand thing. If you remember in the previous game when we were fighting these things, when they got low on health, they would stand, they would, you know, get down on the ground and stop flying. And it would be kind of cool if you could teach your zoo the ability to do that, so when it dies, it doesn't actually die, it just goes into a new phase. That would be badass. See, you remember the nest slug from the monster arena? This is kind of a very specific thing that maybe you guys don't remember. We'll see it when we see it, though. It's actually a fiend you can play with in this game. You capture it at the Moonflow. More evidence that it was a cut-out boss battle there. And that thing, again, had loads of phases in the previous game, and unfortunately, in this game, it only has the one. So that is one little bit of intrigue that is missed from fiends, but whatever. Battle of the Giants right here. Go on, Zoo. Finish him off. Zoo only needs one more level as well to finish his fiend tail. There we go. Nice. I'm really glad that that went so easy. And down we go. See, if we're using the girls, there's other stuff that we have to deal with. I will swap some girls in. We've been using monsters for a while. Though I think this may be our monster file. I'm not 100% sure just yet. But if we bring the girls in... and get ready, I might get game over here. Confusion is a huge, huge threat here. Fire is, of course, powerful against them, but we don't really need this red ring equipped because everyone's on Festivalist anyway, and two of the girls start with fire magic by default on that, so... But Confuse Proof is almost essential. Turns out we don't have any Confuse Proof stuff, so I'm just going to equip the Star Pendant, which is Poison Proof, and hopefully this will go okay. Oh, but the girls, they're so low level. Well, that Ocho at least we can avoid really easily. And you bet your bottom dollar I will try to avoid them if I can. The Youth League members, by comparison, are very easy to fight. And not something I worry about at all. I wonder how many of them know that their leader was just down in the chasm there. I mean, surely since they're so aggressively against us, they don't. Which would suggest most of the members don't actually know what is going on down there, right? That they don't know about the Den of Woe. Why would Nooj hide from them the fact that he's down at the Den of Woe? Two much needed level ups there, I think. It's funny how this game, even though it's got like so much statistical stuff swinging around because of accessories and classes, it still feels pretty good whenever you level up. You do feel a jump in power.
Lady Yuna, say it ain't so.
Hey, Elma. No, look.
You didn't really give the sphere to New Yevon, did you?
Yes.
Sorry.
What did you go and do that for? All right, men, we stop him here.
Hey, whoa! You're gonna fight us?
I am a captain, after all. Don't want to set a bad example by running away.
So it's weird, a scene like that. Again, it's like, how do you tackle that? She's supposed to be a friend, but you don't want to make her some huge villain just because of this one small thing, right? It is an option as well. So, like, how do you tackle something like this? Well, you just kind of make it all lighthearted. And then that kind of undermines, though, this whole thing. It sort of shows that these people aren't actually trying to kill us. They're not actually trying to kill the High Summoner. That's what's going on here. They're just a bit angry with us. They're just trying to, you know, mess about, beat us up a bit. And it's just weird how the game does that, you know, because then it's like, well, we are fighting each other with swords. Is that even true? Elma in this battle does a variety of interesting things. Oh, Riku learns Spinner there, which is something we can certainly use. So Spinner... Oh, God. Okay, she's only asleep. That's fine. So we'll Power Break her. Spinner is an ability that will confuse enemies. Confusion was very difficult to get a hold of, especially early in the game in the original release. However, both the new dress spheres give you confusion quite easily. Oh my god, we just got Fire Agger too. Wow, that's brilliant. Okay. However, you can get it very easily now. So there you go, that's a Spinner. And unfortunately, she is resistant to it now, so we've kind of missed our opportunity to get most use out of that. But that will help us learn a lot of Fiend abilities too, using the Gun Mage later. But basically, what Elma will do is she will haste herself, and she will cast Sleep on us as a party. And now the sleep can actually be reflected, so if you have a garment grid that gives you Reflect or anything like that, if you've been doing a lot with White Mage, this is something I've really not shown off in the series yet, but if you have had a White Mage, you could have learned Reflect by now, and she'll put herself to sleep. Of course, the Songstress could also do something very similar. We don't actually have it on our garment grid here, though, so we're going to ignore that. And we're just going to keep smashing her down. Largely, you can do something like this against her. You know, I should probably use the Fire Sandals, though. And Paine, you could be armor breaking or power breaking. Anyway, there you go. That's Elma dealt with. Pretty easy stuff. There you'll notice for the reward, we get a wall ring. The wall ring is really good gear. The wall ring will give you, while you're on low health, both shell and protect fantastic, and I'm going to equip it right away. Yuna's even on yellow health right now. I don't want that permanently, though, so we're just going to heal them back up. But yeah, the wall ring, really, really cool, and do pay attention to that. Whenever you beat a boss, you do tend to get good gear. It's it's a bit nondescript, since it will just appear there in the list rather than thrown up in the middle of your face, like you'd opened a chest, for example. Anyway, coming to the end of the mission here. And I think we'll see one more familiar face up here. Here's the lift.
It's no good. This thing's not gonna budge.
I bet Yaibal did this. He didn't want us to get involved in the fight.
Do you think he'll get in trouble for it?
Bet he's feeling the hurt.
So, we actually can no longer go up to the headquarters, similar to how we couldn't actually enter Bevelle. Can't go up there, and again, because you didn't have to go there in the first chapter, it meant on my test file, I never went up there.
Buddy here. Want us to come pick you up?
What you think? Ready to leave?
Now, it's actually a huge shame that you don't get a choice from Yuna there to go back to the airship or not, because there is a chest here. I'm pretty confident, anyway, from my notes, that says we get an auto-protect bit of gear from the very top of Mushroom Rock Road, and yet it just instantly threw us out. Yeah, this chest here. So what you want to do is open this chest before triggering the cutscene like I did there, like a dummy. And then you can do it all in one trip. If you miss this, unfortunately, you're going to have to run all the way back, which is what I just did. Anyway, that's a Shining Bracer, which we can check out here. Here we go. So, generates a constant protect effect. This thing is awesome. I equipped it to Paine on my previous playthrough. Everyone's festivalist on this one, so it doesn't matter so much. The other thing we got there, of course, for completing the mission was the Shining Mirror Garments Grid, and this thing has auto-reflect on it, so they really give you a lot of these automatic abilities that give you serious defense from this mission, kind of themes of the rewards, I suppose. So yeah, this gives you reflect by equipping it, the ability to cast it. By casting it, you also get the ability piercing magic. Now, what this will do is it will allow your magic to bypass enemies' defenses if they're armored, very similar to how piercing weapons would do that in the previous game, you know, like Kamari's and Auron's weapons. And the gate, if you travel through the gate, it will give you reflect automatically. So one really cool thing about this grid is when you're in a battle, you have a choice. Do you want to spend the time to cast white magic reflect, which is giving you the ability to do, or do you just want to go through the gate, and that will change your class and give you reflect as well at the same time, and that reflect then cannot be stripped from you because it's auto reflect. So it's a really cool idea, and it's one of these things that starts to incentivize you to sphere change rather than use abilities. And of course that would have been awesome against Elma just a second ago, because we could have reflected the sleep. Maybe for a New Game Plus we could have done it like that. Anyway, I've got to take a long walk back now. I'll see you guys on the airship. Oh my god, you did not just haste the Ochu. You did not just haste the Ochu. No, this isn't good. Okay, the power of confusion has revealed itself to us. I don't know what to do now. We could haste ourselves. Oh, she got a lucky proc with the Fire Auger. Wow. You know, you crazy. That was powerful stuff. We just lost the Chocobo Wing, unfortunately, there, guys. My god. Damn it. Alright, sweet. Back to the airship destination list. That did not take a long time at all. We're going to go to Guadosalam. Like I said, I'm not doing a wild tour or anything here. I just want to show you guys the consequences of, so far at least, of choosing New Yevon or the Youth League. Let's go to Guadosalam and see what's up. It does say it's a hotspot, but there isn't necessarily a mission here. It says, a laundry list. We need Syndicate duds if we want into Chateau LeBlanc. We will just have to chase around the Syndicate around Spirit and liberate 3 uniforms. So let's head on over and see what the girls think. What they do with the game here is really quite subtle, and something I very much enjoy, something I miss from a lot of older games. This is the first time we would have been required to come to Guadosalam 2 if we were doing, you know, a playthrough where we're missing a lot of stuff. So let's walk over to the chateau.
Oh, look! The Dole Wings!
Hey!
You're not getting in here, see?
But LeBlanc broke into our airship.
Anything goes for the great LeBlanc.
Dude. Anything goes. It's funny because you can catch these guys as fiends, playable fiends. No solicitors, authorized personnel only. So that's all we get. Like, it says there's a hotspot. That is it, guys. So what do? Well, as I said, it's kind of subtle. You talk to people around Guadosalam. So this lady here says, I overheard the goons say that they're off to look for a sphere that's buried in the sand. You're after syndicate uniforms? Guess there's no accounting for taste. And she'll just repeat that. So this is normal NPC dialogue. But what did she just say to us there? That they're looking for something buried in the sand? Well, that kind of suggests what? That they could be going to Beacon, right? And indeed, Beacon is one of the locations you need to go to. But that's totally your own initiative. It's not that they've told you there's a hotspot there. It's not even that they give us a cutscene. It's that we're talking to NPCs and trying to detect stuff for ourselves. This door? Remember this door that wouldn't open? The guy says there's no getting into this house. Oh, what? We can't get in? I wonder what happened to that stolen sphere from Kilika Temple, he says. Even the Syndicate was trying to get in here. Heard they gave up too. Wow, okay, so again, did I trick you guys? Did you think that you were going to be able to get in? He says, forget it, the lock is too sturdy. Hypello says, an assignment on the Jose High Road? I heard the goons say so. So, it sounds like the Syndicate are also on the Jose High Road, perhaps? This lady says, forget the sphere from Kilika. I want to know what's in that house. Hey, don't worry, we'll get in there one day. I heard LeBlanc's goons have crossed the Moonflow. I'm sure you could catch them if you head along the high road. So they crossed the Moonflow. Does that mean they're at the Moonflow or they were just traveling elsewhere? Joining the LeBlanc Syndicate wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for those uniforms. I think the uniforms are quite nice. This lady says, Syndicate uniforms, why would you want to wear those? I don't know, I think they're very styling. This guy says, I was planning on hitting Kilika too, but it took me so long to get ready that I ended up missing all the action. I mustn't forget that I can publicize to people. I've actually been to a few areas, but we're only publicizing for Argent here anyway. Let's try and head up to the far plane. This Hypello says, our tickets are selling poorly, but the chief is strapped for gear, question mark. This guy says, sorry, I can't let you in. The far plane has grown unstable and only the Guado know how it might be restored. Now, if you didn't come to Guadosalam in Chapter 1, where you come up here and get a cutscene, you won't get that in Chapter 2 either. So the only time to see Yuna say, I never had the guts to go and see you on the far plane, the only time you ever hear that is if you go there in Chapter 1. Otherwise, you just get that NPC telling you that. Like, all that exposition, all those, you know, messages from Yuna as we traveled around the world, they are Chapter 1 exclusive things. They won't appear in any others. So if you miss them there, then you don't get them at all. That guy we already spoke to. Let's head to this shop. There is a place in Guadosalam I never showed you guys in the LP, which I'd love to now. This guy says, I wonder what's on that sphere from Kilika. And then he says, just between you and me, I don't think the merchandise here is legit. And then in response, oh, no, what? Oh, he doesn't do it. Damn it. I guess it's a Chapter 1 thing, and I never showed you guys it. In Chapter 1, if you talk to the fat guy, he's like, oh, I think everything here is overpriced. And then the shopkeeper shouts at him, and he goes, double prices for you. It's so good. He says, good day, what is it you need? Now, this shop is actually kind of cool. I do want to point out the wares. We've got 9,000 gil. They have some silver stuff now, you'll notice. Guards against slow and stop. Silence strike on your attacks, which is pretty cool. And venom shock, which is poison strike. Now, I really do like this, but we don't have enough money. It's 15,000 gil. If we start selling other stuff, maybe we'd have enough. But yeah. You can also get guard against petrification, death, and even pointless. Cool shop. I liked this shop in the previous game too. I don't know what that guy sitting in here is talking about. So, you know, some shops give you like element strike and stuff. Guadosalam is known more for its status protections and so forth. But yeah, the place I never showed you guys is this room here on the right, and this woman says, people are saying the sphere Yevon and the Youth League were after contains some touchy subject matter. Well, I'd say so. I wonder if there are any Hypello in the LeBlanc Syndicate. Maybe there are. This guy over here says, I tried getting information out of Tobly, but the guy speaks another language, yeah. Actually, why are you talking about Tobly? He says, gotta wonder why LeBlanc's goons would take off for the desert wearing stifling uniforms like that. So it definitely sounds like the desert is one of the places that they're at. But why are people talking about Tobly? It's because Tobly has also taken up residence in one of the Guado's former homes. It's this one here. And very easy to miss this, but this place is called Tobly Productions. If we press triangle, we'll see it down as the location here. This is where he sets most of his stuff up. So he's working on the Moonflow, but this is where he kind of works from. He's not here at the moment. Of course, he's at the Moonflow. Everybody seems to want spheres. Yeah, you got any? Aren't you lusting to see this chief's stage spectacular? Oh, the show he's putting on. So there's nothing really going on in here. You'll notice there is a chest that's already been opened. Depending on how well you do with a variety of storylines in Final Fantasy X-2 will ultimately affect what is in this chest and even your access to this room in particular. There's like this whole storyline going on with the Guado even coming back to this place. There's a whole storyline going on with Tobley and some other stuff too, that depending on how much of it you do, how well you do, will totally affect your reward there. And I'll talk more about it later, but there's some really drastic things you can do that affect the world of Spira, simply so that you can get good gear. And I swear you, it's really good gear, but you kind of have to let the world go to pot to get it. Anyway, so we've got two locations, right? We've got, it sounds like Jose, and it sounds like Beaconel. Where is the last place the LeBlanc Syndicate could have been? Well, we'll just have to keep looking. This guy says, I hear the Syndicate's out on a little mountain climbing expedition. Oh, I could care less about spheres, but the people who do care will shell out major gil. So, yes, the Syndicate is also on Mount Gagazet. Those are our 3 locations. They're very subtle. You just have to talk to people to find it out. Hey, what was on that sphere from Kilika Temple, says the kid. Syndicate uniforms? I think they look pretty stupid. This guy says, I missed the big sphere scramble in Kilika. Damn shame. Just before we leave Guadosalam, there is a bonus side thing we can do here now that we've got the information we need. There is a bonus side thing. You remember last chapter, this woman said she didn't have any data? Well, now she will. So let's say, have you got any data? And she says, you are in luck, my lady. I have just the thing. Quite new, quite new. Okay, granted, this data may not be of much value to you. Still, there are other uses for such morsels. If you were to buy the data from me, you could then sell it to another who wants it, at substantial profit, of course. It's a steal at 10,000 gil. You've nothing to lose. We don't actually have 10,000 gil. God damn it! Sounds good, I'll take it. And she's going to say, I'm sorry, but that's not enough gil. Come back when you have the funds. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. We'll have to sell something at that shop. How do we even have 10,000 gil? God damn it. But this is the little mini game we can play here. Not technically a mission, but this is one of your best ways of getting gil early in the game. For stuff like paying off Awaka's debt. I know we're about to spend 10,000, but it can get you an awful lot of money. So, this old man, let me see what you've got. Or rather, let you see what me got. We'll go to accessories here. What do we want to sell? The Enterprise, you'll notice, only sells for 10 gil. They don't want you to try and accidentally sell this or want to sell it because it is a one-time only unique kind of deal. The Kinesis badge, slow and stop proof. Fine, whatever, we'll sell that. There we go. We've now got 10,000 gil. So make sure you got 10,000 gil here. 99% of players ever coming here will have 10,000 gil. And you want to buy some information from this person. So there's loads of different information they'll give you, but they will only ever give you 1 piece per save. So basically it's randomized, okay? And what you can do here is keep soft resetting the game until they give you a really good bit of information, if that makes sense. So got any data? She goes off on her little speech. And she says, it's a steal at 10,000 gil, you can't lose. So what you want to do, just before you say yes, is save your game. If you want to cheat this out, you save your game. You say, sounds good, I'll take it. And then she says, excellent. Now listen well as I tell you of the person you should seek. So hint 1, it is a woman, she says. Surely you have some idea of whom it is I speak, my lady. And, I mean, that's pretty vague. We'll say, okay. Okay, they do give us a little bit of information here. It says, buyer beware. Use the hints provided to hunt down the person in Guadosalam who's out for some data. Press square to talk to your target into making the purchase. But be quick, no one wants old news. It's really vague, the idea here. What I think it is they've given us information, and now what we need to do is sell that information to someone who really, really wants it. And the person who really, really wants it is a woman somewhere. So we don't even know what the information itself is, just that some woman really wants it. Now, there's going to be a lot of women out there. Hint 1 is that she's a woman. And if we fail to find the right person by pressing square on them, then we'll get another hint, but then the information itself is less valuable. So the amount of money that the woman will ultimately pay us for it is lower. So if you get it in one shot, you can get a lot of money. So objective, find a buyer for the data. And now we can just run around. Now the lady here says, I'm not going to ask her for any more data. So what you want to do is get it in one shot. Now you can of course look on guides online and see, okay, so I've got a guide here, a physical guide that says if the person we're looking for is a woman, it gives me a map that tells me exactly where that person is. So the clue can be incredibly vague. Now here's the thing as well. Different information sells to different people for different amounts of money. So, for example, If we were just told that we were looking for a guy who is just sitting around, then ultimately we would get 25,000 gil for selling that information to him. Now, the dude just sitting around is this guy here. That's not the information that we randomly got on our save file, though. We got some different information. We got the information it is a woman, which is very vague and kind of difficult. But if we get this right, then instead of 25,000 gil, we'll get 70,000 gil. The absolute max you can get from this by soft resetting over and over and over until you get lucky enough is the hint, it's the last person you'd expect, no question, and you get 100,000 gil for that. And that is the best situation you can get, and the last person you'd expect is the person who's selling the information, which is like some weird, bizarre paradox if you think about the way that this story is supposed to work. It would be the person in the shop. So you can basically, in this chapter, if you soft reset enough, trade 10,000 gil for 100,000 gil, and that's Owaka's debt right there, straight away. Anyway, this is the person we're seeking. I'm actually wondering if there are any other women here. I would have thought there'd be loads of women, so it wouldn't actually be that good. Yeah, there's a woman there too. Anyway, the woman we're actually looking for is the one over in this corner down here, and now speaking to her regularly isn't going to do anything, right? But if we press square on her, she says, confidential data? Tell me, please. Here's 70,000 gil, now spill it. And so we just got 70,000 gil. Bogosphere data sold. Cha-ching. Yuna laughs to herself. And there you go. She says, that was some awesome data. My heart is racing. So, kind of vague. I like it, though. It's all, like, discreet and weird and, you know, manipulative. And it kind of fits the theme of Guadosalam right now, especially with the LeBlanc syndicate here. I don't know. I really enjoy it, and it obviously is a big boon to us too. Now we can afford stuff in that shop, whatever. If we say, do you want any more data? She says, I'm sorry, my lady. I have nothing new at the moment. And so, yeah, that's kind of the way that this works here in Guadosalam. Very cool. And I guess we are done for now. We have 3 locations that we know that, or we suspect the LeBlanc syndicate are at. Let's go hit them up.